Hey everyone, welcome to Reddit Readout. Today we are checking out 2-sentence horror. Story 1. Her tongue swabbed the back of his teeth. He began shuddering and frothing because it had entered through his asshole. Story 2. As a writer, I've always told my boyfriend how much I wanted to see my horror stories come to life. As I cry and beg him to please stop tearing off my fingernails, I now realize I probably should have specified in a TV show. Be the first to comment. Nobody's responded to this post yet. Add your thoughts and get the conversation going. Story 3. Sound off when I call your name. I joked as I read off the names of the mortuary sheet. I couldn't help but shudder when I heard someone say here. Story 4. The people in my city have always talked about something lurking in the sewers. I think it's silly, because I live in the sewers and I haven't seen any monster. Story 5. I showed my new girlfriend my collection of vintage milk cartons, the final edition boasting her school picture. I've spent weeks explaining to her that it's safer than keeping trophies, but all she does is scream and cry instead of being flattered. Story 6. My girlfriend told me never to go into her closet, but I disobeyed while she was on a work trip. Disappointed by the completely normal array of clothes and shoes, I turned to exit only to find that a sick, deformed look-alike of my girlfriend is standing in my way, saying help me. Story 7. As I watched the news, I heard there were gonna be heavy showers today. I didn't expect for them to be slabs of brimstone, with engravings in an unknown language. Be the first to comment. Nobody's responded to this post yet. Add your thoughts and get the conversation going. Story 8. I always liked going on hikes. I never knew why my dad stopped going to my favorite spot with me. Years later I realized why he stopped. There was someone else in the photo, someone without eyes. Be the first to comment. Nobody's responded to this post yet. Add your thoughts and get the conversation going. Story 9. No matter how many zombies I kill, more just keep popping up from everywhere. Story 10. Please take your child home with you and let me work here as their slave instead, I said through tears as I hugged her. As she thanked me and left with her child, I opened the door to the closet where I'd been hiding my child and snarled, "Now, get started on the list while I go lay down." Be the first to comment. Nobody's responded to this post yet. Add your thoughts and get the conversation going. Story 11. I kissed my new boyfriend lying next to me in bed good night. He hasn't started to stink yet, so hopefully I can keep him around longer than the others. Story 12. The only wish my son ever had was to meet Mr. Beast. Now that my son is a Make-A-Wish kid, he did meet the Beast, but not in the way that we expected. Story 13. DEC-23. With half of humanity dead and devoured, we finally got news that the war machine had fallen. Relief quickly turned to despair as we received word that another one, double the size and power, had been discovered. Be the first to comment. Nobody's responded to this post yet. Add your thoughts and get the conversation going. Story 14. I love the idea of working for something bigger than myself. I just never knew it would ask for so much blood. Story 15. I told the genie my wish for world peace. As my body started failing, I realized a lifeless world would be completely free of conflict. Story 16. I looked down at the person beside me and realized I didn't know who they were. I held the pillow over their head and knew I'd never hear mommy again. Story 17. I've always thought that learning a new language was useless. Like, why learn Spanish when you're going to kill them anyways, am I right? Story 18. The roar of the garbage truck woke me up and I ran outside in my pajamas, pushing the heavy trash can up the long driveway just in time to see the truck pull away. The demon driving the truck waved and smiled, and flames of hell burned around me as I remembered I was doomed to repeat this ritual every morning for rest of eternity. Story 19. My husband keeps making fun of me for begging him not to whistle outside at night. He just thinks it's so neat how the sound echoes back. Story 20. I was a scientist who worked on the first portal prototypes AMA. In its wake, not even a ghost was left to mourn. Be the first to comment. Nobody's responded to this post yet. Add your thoughts and get the conversation going. Story 21. When the ice shelf over Antarctica began to melt, scientists were baffled by the unique cliffs and ridges revealed. Eventually, a scaled dinosaur-like beast nearly the size of the continent lay stark, still alive, having hibernated for 65 million years. Story 22. Scientists discovered a food that shortened an embryo's development stage from 9 months to just 9 days. With this new food now in production, breeding became a lucrative industry as the people found babies born to moms who ate the food to be quite tasty. Story 23. I wish my driver would stop drifting off to sleep as he's taking me to my stop. He tries to ignore my advice, the coffin makes it hard for him to hear me sometimes. Be the first to comment. Nobody's responded to this post yet. Add your thoughts and get the conversation going. Story 24. DEC23 double or nothing, he said, and I accepted, expecting another easy win. Now here I am, in utter shock, trying to figure out how to get another soul for the payment. Story 25. My dog is always scratching at the door when she wants me to let her it. But no, wait, my dog's right here. Story 26. I have made contact with a new life form but it won't let me live, said the NASA astronaut as he gasped for air. It's in here, were the astronaut's last words before he died while training in a VR simulation. Story 27. It's a boy. Congratulations on your 4th child, Clara. Story 28. Look, Dad, dolphins, my stepson screamed as he jumped in to swim with them. I couldn't help but smile when I saw all the vertical tail fins, knowing that I can now start a proper family without him. Story 29. It's just a phase, I tell myself for the 100th time. But looking at the body of another neighborhood pet in my daughter's room, I'm starting to doubt myself. Story 30. Trapped within the silk, I could only pray for a swift death. Instead, I was forced to bring about the brood that would destroy my kind. Story 31. Walking into my house, I was shocked to be greeted by my wife. As she smiled at me, I wondered how she got out of the basement. Story 32. There once was a girl who no one, not even herself, could tell what kind of luck she had. The day she knew was the same day the rope snapped. Be the first to comment. Nobody's responded to this post yet. Add your thoughts and get the conversation going. Story 33. They're only man and woman L. Story 34. I spent the past 2 weeks making everything perfect for her stay. Now, I just have to get my shovel and head to the cemetery to bring her home. Be the first to comment. Nobody's responded to this post yet. Add your thoughts and get the conversation going. Story 35. As a precaution, the first recreational time travelers to the past were kept in quarantine for 1 week up upon their return. Someone should have told Big Apple History Tours that smallpox has an incubation period of 2 weeks. Story 36. My dad told me that my mom would be home soon from work. I didn't have the heart to tell him that I killed Mom years ago. Story 37. I shoved him as hard as I could once his back was turned. I leaned over to watch gleefully as he fell down 32 stories, then to my horror he landed casually and smiled up at me without any hint of injury. Story 38. I appreciated that the technologically advanced aliens had perfected a technique for surgery where they could teleport organs out of an individual without harming them. That was, until they began laughing and chasing each other while using my organs as a fleshy version of water balloons, and I could feel each rupture. Story 39. I'm scrolling through Reddit and seeing a video of a deadly car accident with a car involved that looks exactly like mine. I'm shocked and pinching myself but strangely can't feel anything. Story 40. Parents must surrender custody of all children who fail to meet developmental standards by age 3. With the ongoing organ crisis, these children will serve as valuable donors for the productive members of society. Story 41. I hadn't realized the 9-year-old girl was such a spoiled brat. I sighed as I closed the freezer door, all of its contents now thawed and completely inedible. Be the first to comment. Nobody's responded to this post yet. Add your thoughts and get the conversation going. Story 42. I had a dream last night that my older sister was being dragged away screaming, crying, begging me not to forget her. I woke up feeling very sad, which is strange because I don't even have a sister. Story 43. She wanted an uneventful end to her day. He wanted her. Be the first to comment. Nobody's responded to this post yet. Add your thoughts and get the conversation going. Story 44. I had to choose between firing squad, lethal injection, hanging, or Blood Eagle for my execution. I chose Blood Eagle because I imagine it's just some bird and I can probably fight it off and still live, so I got this. Story 45. My coworker Ted and I were inspecting the old park tunnel when we came across a large hole in the tunnel wall. As Ted checked the wall around the hole for structural issues, a horde of pale, twisted figures grabbed him and dragged Ted into what I realized too late was their burrow. Story 46. The seemingly endless golden tresses of the strangely silent captive princess constricted around my ensnared body with the bone-crushing strength of a python. Cackling gleefully, the witch's raspy voice said, "When I possessed that simple-minded girl's body years ago, I never thought I would have a never-ending bountiful harvest of would-be rescuers to eat." Be the first to comment. Nobody's responded to this post yet. Add your thoughts and get the conversation going. Story 47. I peeked outside the window and saw a deformed, grotesque man looking back at me. It took me a few seconds to realize I was looking into a mirror. Story 48. My hysterical wife thinks our daughter is missing, but she's actually sitting right here in front of us at the kitchen table. And the mailman's daughter is out back with her dad, little more than ashes, buried in a box labeled 23andMe. Story 49. The USPS website said my package was delivered. Unfortunately, I wanted it with its liver. Be the first to comment. Nobody's responded to this post yet. Add your thoughts and get the conversation going. Story 50. My dyslexia was never really a problem after school. Until my 2-year-old wanted to watch The Hungry Caterpillar. Story 51. My runaway daughter was finally returned home. This time I'll make sure those chains don't break. Story 52. I'm a priest with a gun. If I just start shooting, something is bound to hit you. That's all for today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.